Yeah. Few things on the sign-up sheet. There's a movie made in the early '70s in Haiti called Uncle Tom. Goodbye, Uncle Tom. Anyway, it's a movie on slavery. It's one of the greatest movies ever put together on slavery. Make groups look like Disney World. Anyway, it was banned in this country. And European countries around the world, Italian. It was the Italians that did it. It's like a spaghetti western. But Europeans around the world, the Italians, French, Greek, Spain, everybody around the world actually saw this film and studied it. Except America, you know. And they had to do it in Haiti somewhere in like the early 70s, 71, 72, something like that. But anyway, right at the end of the spaghetti western era. Anyway, it's called Goodbye, Uncle Tom, and we finally got our hands on it in 99. You know, 98, 99, basically. So if you haven't seen it and all, there's a sign-up sheet if you want to get that particular movie. Some unbelievable stuff on slavery that you might want to see. Also, I did a new tape last night. I don't know if you saw a lot of that. No, it's called Immigrant Humans. The hybrid origins of the white man, which is a update on my human artificial tape I did about 7 years ago. So since then we had so much information coming on this person being created or grafted as a laboratory experiment until I had to just put some a new twist on it and some new evidence or some new information also. I have a conference coming up that I put together. Me and a sister named Delbert, which is my new business partner, I put together. It's going to be in Atlanta, Georgia on April 6th, 7th, and 8th. And we got several speakers and all. If you didn't get one of these handouts, I'll give it to you, whatever. Several speakers. Don't forget to get a handout. But anyway, that's going to be on April 6th, 7th, and 8th in Atlanta. And fairly cheap compared to most conferences and stuff. But anyway, we have that going on, and a lot of stuff that's going on in the country. So we're going to get into this particular stuff. So we're going to start off with libations right off the bat. And also, too, this is the day that they're burying Brother Khalid Muhammad in Harlem today. We're going to have a memorial in Atlanta, I think on Monday, but they're actually having the funeral as we speak, or if they haven't already had it, in Harlem.
Could you repeat that?
What the hell happened?
Did he die?
Oh yeah.
What did you say?
Yeah. I'll go into that. Khalid Muhammad died Monday not this past Monday, but Monday before last. And I'll go into the several angles on what we have on that, since this is such a hot topic. I'll just give you the aspect, because I was fortunate to hear about it early on before it really got out, because his son called me. So I'll go into that particular thing. But right now, let's give some juice and some energy to the ancestors and the gods and all. And even more so now, you need this type of juice that you need to be dealing with now, because I'm going to be honest with you, Jesus Christ is not going to do it. You line up behind Jesus and you're going to be dead. Because we're talking about an energy that was supposed to be end-time energy, that the Romans made a historical energy and threw the whole scale off. What they call grotesque, they call sublime mythology, or eschatology, which is talking about now, makes grotesque history. And this is one of the greatest hopes of the 20th century, of the messianic age that we're living in now. They say it came 2,000 years ago. You see what I'm saying? And threw the whole science off. So therefore, if you line up behind this particular 2,000-year-old fictitious figure, you will pretty much have all the problems you want. And all you got to do is just look at the problems black people have health-wise, black people have economic-wise, social-wise, world-wise, and you can pretty much figure it out now, because most of them believe in Jesus. We're not telling you not to believe in the Christ, because ye are the Christ. Is it not written in the law that ye are gods? John chapter 10, verse 34, 36. The Christ and Jesus is two other things. And we're not saying the Christ, basically the Christ just means your soul. If you study the ancient science of what the Christos means, it is your soul reinventing itself. That's the difference compared to a 2,000-year-old white man or black man. You see what I'm saying? Running around and all, that most ancient people wouldn't even bought that stuff. And it took 8 conferences and almost a couple of hundred years to even produce the mythological character that is stuck in our minds. It took 8 damn conferences to do this. And there's more written on Jesus. There's more actually written about Jesus than supposedly the doctrine that the man supposedly said if there was this particular preacher or this particular prophet. So at this particular time, you need to line up with some ancient African sciences and some ancient African frequencies that you've been thinking is some spookism. I have something on the ground here, which is something called the Congo rites, or any voodoo rites, or any Yoruba. And basically this stuff is actually energies. It's no different than when you mash a keyboard, or you mash any type of thing. You type in a certain name on the internet or on the computer, and the name comes up on the screen. Well, this is ancient science. When you put down what is called the veves or the veves, which is these particular sigils, these symbols that you see them drawing on the ground in Haiti with white cornmeal, efun, which is crushed up eggs. And they draw these particular symbols. You see them all over the trees, and they put the white level. This is no different than you mashing a button or a symbol to bring up something on a computer screen, a certain energy. So it's no different than if you build an energy frequency and you mash the damn button and the button blows up something, or you take something and push down on it and the dynamite blows up. It's the same energy frequency. So what we're talking about here is not spookism. We're talking about advanced science. So we have to literally reinvent ourselves, and we have to actually get out of anything that is not working at this particular time. And mainly what we're trying to do now is we're trying to do something whereas you shouldn't pay money to get in to hear a person give you common sense. If it's logical, rational, common sense, and it makes perfect good sense, you got to throw that shit out of the window. So we're going to the higher level. If it makes common sense, if it makes perfect sense, you got to throw it out of the window. And that's why we never really get anywhere, because people come before you and they give you logical, rational information. And that makes perfect sense, but that is not creativity. You can't learn from stuff that makes perfect sense. God damn it, you already know that. You need what is a mutation. You need to jump into the beyond. That's when you create stuff. Anything that you created, any innovator, or anybody that ever did anything, the people call them crazy. You see what I'm saying? That is what we're dealing with. We're creating what is a mutation or transmutation. And so we are very close. We are literally in the zone now. We'll get into some of this stuff today also too. We are very critical time. So we're not just talking about the basic liberation theology. We don't build no buildings for ourselves. We don't have no stuff for the children. We don't teach our own knowledge. We don't have our economic thing. You already know that shit. That's over and over and over again. That's common sense. But common sense don't work for black people. That's because common sense is not supposed to work for you. You gotta look. Look for the insane. Look for the insane. Look for the deterioration, the degeneration. Look for all the pathetic things that you are, because that's what lies a new beginning. See, now we're dealing with some stuff that is totally out of the ordinary. And that's what we have to do right now. We have to create another horizon. So there's time out for shit that sounds like you want it to hear. Knowledge is not supposed to be something that you agree with at the beginning. It's supposed to be something strange and out of the ordinary. That's called creative physics. You see what I'm saying? You give to a new birth. You see what I'm saying? I mean, it's like a sister called me. She said, man, you got some stuff going on inside your body, this entity. She said, prepare. And I'm like, okay, I'm preparing. And the next week, my back whips broke all out and stuff. And all. Just stuff. I'm scratching all over. But what it was literally cleaning out. This entity was literally cleaning me out. So when you're talking about something that is cleaning you out, you know, usually when you clean out or when you detox, all types of crazy stuff come out, and it is abnormal. It is the chaos that we need to deal with. We'll call the chaos beings. In the beginning there was chaos. In the beginning there was darkness. In the beginning there was chaos. Or they say in the beginning there was death. All of these things don't make sense. In the beginning there was love. Anybody ever really been in love? It's some really frightening stuff. I'm talking about the real deal love. I ain't talking about, I'm talking about, it's fine when it goes right. You have days when it goes right. But it is some real emotional and psychological things. You know what I'm saying? That's why most men are scared of it. The weaker sex is scared of that shit. We'll run from that in a minute. We ain't trained to deal with that at all. That's when we say, damn that I'm a man and I just, So we will run from that type of stuff. The sisters is trained to deal with it. And really how you deal with it is just let go. Let go. Otherwise it will kick you behind. But anyway, what we're dealing with here now, we have to deal with a new paradigm. We need to border on those things that don't make no sense. Now what do we mean by that? Is it not written in the law that ye are gods, and the scriptures cannot be broken? John 10, verse 34, 36. I will give you the treasures of darkness. Matthew 45. If ye are gods, then things that make sense on a human level wouldn't make sense on a God level. A God would be something totally different. You mere mortals, you have to deal with common sense, rationale, logic, deductible reasoning. But we gods, to the mortals, our stuff seems crazy. But we are gods. This is the mystery. The mystery why stuff is not working for us on the humane level, because we weren't originally humane. We fell into a human existence. You understand? We fell into a human existence and we had a human experience, but now we're talking about godship, something totally different. That means that the insanity is the right way to go. Is the right way to go. Well, you say, damn, that's kind of hard to take. What we have to do now is we cannot allow you to spend money to go in and hear shit that you already know. When I was at Benedict College in Columbia, South Carolina, we have all these public speakers would come and give us stuff that we already know. You know how it is in church. Amen. Well, if I'm an idiot and I'm agreeing to this, obviously I'm not learning nothing. I don't need to agree to this. If I'm a damn idiot and I can literally agree with what you're saying, you ain't teaching me shit. If I'm coming to hear something, that's the key. That's the key with mind control. Give you something what you want to hear and not what you need to hear. You see what I'm saying? And a lot of times what you need to hear is not the familiar. People tend to gravitate towards the familiar because they are afraid of change. The laws of the universe and the laws of the universe are the laws of chaos. Chaos is an unorganized, let me get this thing here, a definition of this. Y'all all right? It's a chaos. First of all, the first thing they tell you, the melanin, and it courses through our vein, is chaos. Chaos is a state of things where change is supreme. If it doesn't change, it is dead. That's why black people are always changing. They said, damn, why y'all don't listen to blues no more? Got little white boys and shit in 9th grade playing the blues. White children playing jazz. They said, why you all abandoned? Because it's a state of change. We're always in a state of flux, a change. We don't understand. Our insanity is correct. This thing is amazing now, because the same shit that we've been saying all this time, black people are out of their minds. In actuality, that is the right stuff. They said when they went into ancient Hemmitt, ancient Egypt, they said that the Germans had the gall to say that the Egyptians did not understand their religion. Look at the arrogance. The arrogance is almost insane. The Egyptians did not understand their religion. And they said, this stuff is so contradictory. They got columns. The columns, one column is this high, this column is this high in the temples. And they said, and one column is this high. They said, what kind of shit is this? But they didn't understand that the Egyptians were actually creating what they see in nature. You see a blade of grass is not the same size. You see different trees. So they were literally creating a forest. It was a doggone inanimate object, but they had shaped it down, and they understood that different columns and different things. It was talking about the papyruses, or the lotus plant, and the different forms of nature. Nature is a series of contradictions. So Faulkner, which was an Egyptologist, said, hey, wait a minute. I've been studying this stuff, and I realized they got all these contradictions in the religious texts. They said, oh, I get it now. They purposely built in mistakes. They purposely built in mistakes, because that's the way nature is. We did that in jazz. Jazz, mathematically, is a big mistake. And if you notice, and it was a big mistake, the white boy would get it, and he'd make that shit smooth, and he would kill it. And then the black people would come and put their stuff back in it and raise it back up. You know what I'm saying? And so by the time it got to the 50s, like with Charlie Parker and all that, it became what? Chaos again. You see what I'm saying? It's a series of contradictions. Black people dance is a series of contradictions. The white man has to dissect it down. So they said, well, black people, the ancient man would take an animal, and he would dissect it. He would look at the animal, and he would study all of the form of the animal based on nature. It might take 20 years, but he said, I'll study it. That way I would know the essence of it. Whereas the white man would dissect it and cut it up. And hell, it might take 100 years for him to figure it out, and he never figures it out because he didn't study the pattern of it, the chaos pattern, the nature pattern of this thing. You see what I'm saying? So they dissect stuff. It's just like they said. You know, you got George Clinton with the funk, then you had the disco, where they literally had the same repetitious, this repetitious beat. So we're talking about chaos. So we're talking about here moving beyond what is rational, what makes good common sense, what religion suggests, of being righteous, You see, we're moving beyond that particular aspect. You've done the damn religious thing, and it ain't doing you no good. You righteous is still not doing you no good. You know what I'm saying? The white man kill righteous people every day. You see, telling you righteous, they say, you can go and kill that nigga there, he just surrendered. You see what I'm saying? He just surrendered. Tell them you evil, they won't fuck with you. Won't mess with you at all. They say, wait a minute, hold on. He's created an anomaly. He's created an enigma. He's creating a mutation. That's how I was able to survive. And especially on my birthday when they put out the big guns. 9 years and nothing. Safe passage. And then all of a damn sudden, on my birthday, boom, here they come. And it wasn't no police. It was the United States Army. I'm like, damn, now that's honorable. You don't send the police. You didn't send, you didn't send some little old people, knocking on the, some people in plain clothes. You sent the doggone big guns. I said, man, that's honorable, boy. I said, I must be doing some real deal good shit. They sent the doggone United States military. I said, damn, man, you know a nigga head got big. I said, man, this is great, man. They sent the military after me. And then haul ass. And that's some shit. I'm able to survive it. I'm like, oh, man, I'm cooking with some gas now. But anyway, I'll get back into that. But anyway, but then again, that's that Vietnam thing that you ain't figured out yet. How they got their ass whipped in Vietnam. You see, but they didn't show you this here. Look at this picture. I'm going to put this on the thing. You can zoom into this. Yeah. That looked like some stuff from Hemmitt or India. This is in Vietnam. Then you can understand how they got their ass whipped. You see what I'm saying? Two people figured it out. The Haitians with Toussaint, the Overture, Dessalines, and the Vietnamese. You see? The Ethiopians in the first Italian-Ethiopian war, they figured it out. Only when they started fighting like the crackers. You see what I'm saying? The ship broke down. Can't fight like him. You see what I'm saying? You got to do something else. You see what I'm saying? The Native Americans, the Hopis say that the Holy Shekinahs is coming. Not the Shekinahs, not Shekinahs, the dolls they have, Kachinas. The Holy Kachinas is coming. And they'll be spiritual beings, and they'll go to war with the physical beings, and the physical beings can't fight no ghosts. You see what I'm saying? And they'll lose. That's what we're talking about here. But we're talking about advanced energy. You see what I'm saying? Advanced energy and stuff. So this is the stuff that we're dealing with here if you surround yourself with it. You see. But this is in Vietnam. Stuff like this. And I'll pass it around. If you look, the men, all the men, if you look up to the top, they all got big lips. So we're not talking about no slant-eyed people. We're talking about the original people that inhabited China, Asia, all of that, the original black man. The original black man. You see what I'm saying? So, the original black man. So let's go with this libation list before I get, well, I guess it's some good energy because Charlotte is named after a black woman, so let's do some. Y'all bear with me while we do this. And this, we say Ashe, which means power. So let's get a good roll call going. First of all, I want to get these here because these are very powerful ones on the floor here. Put that back down. Did I pick one up?
No.
I had two of them. Okay, yeah, that's what I got to move here. So let's do this. So for the people that know, Zarabanda, Ashe, El Cristo Negro, Ashe Santissima Mutri, Ashe Gamashala, Ashe San Simon, Ashe Santissima Petra Eman, Ashe Las Spiritus and Tregulas, Ashe Blanca de la Luna, Ashe Francisco de Sriti Reyes, Ashe El Cristo Rey, Ashe Madre de Agra, Ashe Misa, Ashe. Okay, let's go on. Agasu, Ashe Agawi, Ashe Adio, Ashe Hagin, Ashe Baron Samadhi, Ashe Boris Tara Crooks, Ashe Bridget La Crooks, Ashe Dembala, Ashe Azuli, Ashe Gene, Ashe Grand Boris, Ashe Larasreen, Ashe Ledba, Ashe Lago, Ashe Marasha, Ashe Misty, Ashe Abdul, Ashe Simbi, Ashe Pamazata, Ashe. Okay, let's keep on going. Only Tutu, Ashe Mali Tutu, Ashe Gini Tutu, Ashe Tutu Le, Ashe Koki Ta, Ashe Koki Ru, Ashe Koki Opa, Ashe Koki Ipo, Ashe Koki Ita, Ashe Akababa Waya, Ashe Motobo Alaki, Ashe Motobo Marisha, Ashe Motobo Itatu, Ashe Motobo Iku, Ashe Nilabaki Olumasha Arum, Ashe Nakan, Akika Masi Ogogo, Ashe Babalasha Ogo Ilasa, Ashe Nikamashi, Ashe. Okay, let's keep this thing rolling. Kela, Ashe Shapa, Ashe Baina, Ashe Ted, Ashe Gebra, Ashe Timrid, Ashe Nasa, Ashe Ha, Ashe Gasset, Ashe Melket, Ashe Shekina, Ashe, hold on. Osea, Ashe Aset, Ashe Setmet, Ashe Sashet, Ashe Hudi, Ashe Maya, Ashe Pata, Ashe Sut, Ashe Ra, Ashe Heru, Ashe Entu, Ashe Nepter, Ashe Asset. Okay, now we're going to pick it up. Now you got to go higher because this is all energy. So the dead shit, you gotta do it. Do that shit like you do when you're in that motherfucking church. With that damn choir. That old Kirk Franklin ignorant shit. Just do this shit for these gods now. Come on with it. Brahma, Vishnu, Vini, Chandra, Shiva, Buddha, Now we get to the big list. Okay, just bear with me. Let's get this power going. Get this power going. Because this is actually a ritual. So you never know. You might walk out here tomorrow and Find some money up in your doggone house the right way, you know. Somebody send you the right check. This is how this thing is going now. So let's deal with this stuff. So then, I said, I said, I said, I said, Satan, I said, heaven, I said, angel, I said, Satan, I said, melchizedek, I said, God, I said, follow, I said, Satan, I said, Almighty, I said, heaven, I said, God, I said, Christian, I said, Zach, I said, promise, I said, devil, what I said, Abuna, I said, Mars, I said, Allah, I said, Odu, I said, we should reach, I said, Malchus, I said, Taima, I said, Hootie, I said, Fire, I said, Letter, I said, Sex, I said, Osef, I said, Lucifer, I said, Anu, I said, Nilahosha, I said, Obama, I said, Tekken, I said, Shockman, I said, Timber, I said, Helios, I said, Chango, I said, Vishnu, I said, Ryan, I said, Angel, I said, Rhea, I said, Only Tuesday, I said, Kofiba, I said, Kozio, I said, Mercury, I said, My Every Booty, I said, Bass, I said, Ani, I said, Maya, I said, Second, I said, Pradeep, I said, Sutak, I said, Andrew, I said, Mary, I said, Harry, Hero, I said, Oya, I said, Apep, I said, Demon, I said, Maddie, I said, Saturday, I said, Rana, I said, Shiva, I said, Shakti, I said, Horror, I said, Shadow Horror, I said, Ari, I said, Perry, I said, Oya, I said, Apep, I said, Rani, I said, Nexus, I said, Andrew, I said, Dudua, I said, Pamela, I said, Magenta, I said, Kalima, I said, Makali, I said, Bridget, I said, Seth, I said, Okurani, I said, Rokolani, I said, Kusureba, I said, Chidamasi, I said, Abamaya, I said, few more, keep it going. Come to get to that. I said, Larry, I said, Ashley, I said, Ashley, I said, Beth, I said, Beth, I said, I said, Bell, I said, Yamaka, I said, Gaza, I said, Lapa, I said, Maleta, I said, Pam, I said, Supe, I said, Tamu, I said, Tutu, I said, Akahu, I said, John, I said, Arma, I said, Azazim, I said, Elizabeth, I said, Lyle, I said, Buffalo, I said, Dama, I said, Naka, I said, Ipadawa, I said, I said, Manu, I said, No, I said, Shiva, I said, Papa, I said, Line, Ma, I said, Tom, I said, Apple, I said, Shula, I said, Belgium, I said, Shaka, I said, Pluto, I said, Nova, I said, Immiga, I said, College, I said, Belgium, I said, Balayin, I said, Balayin, I said, Nasha, I all right. Oh, man. Well, I guess we can go on home now. Wow. But, like I said, this is stuff that you need to line up with for protection. At least, Darryl.
Yeah.
You still sell these?
Vibration list?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, for the people in town, you can still get a hold of one of those. That was the last one I did. You can still get a hold of one of those. Okay. All right. Couple of things. Couple of things is the college situation. Basically, the son called me. He has a son that lives in Atlanta, looks just like him. Called me and said that his pops was dead, and said that in so many words, he had gotten up that night, Monday night, not the past Monday, but Monday before last. What would that be? I had a calendar. The 16th. Of last month. No. 2 Mondays ago. 12. So it would have been the 13th, that Tuesday morning, because I think it was at midnight. He said that he basically got up and he ran and threw up 3 times and then collapsed. And in so many words that he had an aneurysm. That he had an aneurysm and all. And so they rushed him to the hospital. But I think that's the misfortune. Was you can't call the white man the devil now and end up in this hospital. There should be some type of code or some type of a thing that you do, whereas you have it written in some type of, I don't know, some type of will or some type of manifesto or whatever the deal is. Yeah, or whatever the deal is. You have it written that in case that you get sick, that they take you to Miss Rudolph's house. You know, a Yoruba doctor, witch doctor, anything outside of the hospital, especially with something like that, because you know damn well they're going to kill you. Unfortunately, he was in way out in Kennesaw, which is real Klansville. See, The difference between South Carolina and North Carolina, especially South Carolina, because you got the most amount of blacks in the country in South Carolina. Georgia, outside of Augusta, Columbus, and Atlanta, is all white people. For some reason, they forced all theirs into a few major cities, especially. That's why Atlanta is so prominent, because all the Negroes that is in Georgia is literally in Atlanta down there, in Augusta. But Georgia, man, is shit. You got whole counties where mostly white. So to be out there in Clanville, you see what I'm saying, and be in college, you know, the whole concept is when he collapsed and he went into a coma or whatever the deal was. You had when he went into a coma, he lived all the way to I think Wednesday or Thursday. They decided to cut off the life support machine because he was supposed to be brain dead. And then he lived an entire day until I think the end of Friday on his own. Now, for a person to go through all that, that meant if he was in any type of traditional healing or any type of thing, you know, the right way, somebody could have literally directed him back into his body. You see what I'm saying? If he lived that long for a whole week on life support and then for a whole day off, they could have literally directed him back in his body. But I'm thinking he was hovering over his body based on what one of the spiritual seers said, and he couldn't get back in. So what I'm trying to say here is the worst place to go, and you know, I'm trying to say, well, they say, well, you know, there's nothing they can do, but is it nothing they can do or is it nothing they're gonna do? That's the key. You know what I'm saying? If you declare somebody your enemy, then they're not doggone expected to work on you and save your life. You see what I'm saying? And this is just the misfortune of it and all. You know, the misfortune of it. So they held on to it until last Saturday, and they finally announced that he was dead. The point I'm trying to make here is that it's got to be real. It's got to be some real stipulations going down that you don't end up in the doggone hospital. Basically, because you don't want to go to the hospital, period, if you just regular black people, especially one that expresses his opinion. You see what I'm saying and all. So therefore, I think that was a misfortune for him to end up in a hospital. That was kind of tragic and stuff like that. I mean, he was 53 years old. And, you know, and for Honorable Elijah Muhammad's eat to live, that's probably about like late 30s or 40s, early 40s when you think about it. But the point I'm trying to make here is it's one of those particular things that actually happens. You know, so, but then again, on the other hand, you got to tap into the spirit realm. I don't know, I probably had them 10 aneurysms, but it don't matter. Because all I know is when I wake up in the morning, and sometimes I might wake up in the middle of the night, and I have a burning sensation somewhere. And that means that the Kundalini energy has gone somewhere. I might have bumped my leg or something, or hurt myself. You know how sometimes you hurt yourself and you can't feel it, and then you wake up the next morning and you sore. Well, what happens here is if you're a real holy person, what happens, and I ain't talking about no Bible-toting person. I'm talking about the real deal scientific holy person. You know what I mean? If you're really getting into the real spiritual realm. Because most religion is not spirituality whatsoever. I don't give a shit how many times you pray. You wasting your damn time praying 7 times a day. That's almost ludicrous now. Because the scientific aspect of that has been lost. So you're wasting most of your time. One of the keys here is what happens is if you're a spiritual person, these things just don't happen. You literally are healed. So, you know, the cancer and all this type of stuff, it just don't happen because you have like the Kundalini energy. And this particular energy directs itself to you if you let this particular thing flow. So my point here is not necessarily talking about the dead or anything like that, but I'm trying to say that at this particular time, you're going to have to deal with something on a much more higher level. Higher level than religion and praying. You see what I'm saying? Or believing in God. That's not enough. You know what I'm saying? I can believe that there's an Empire State Building, but can I depend on me getting a key and going down there and trying to move in tomorrow night? That shit ain't happening. I can believe there's a White House. But am I going to spend the night up in there That ain't happening. So belief don't mean shit. That just means you just believe in something, and pretty much after that, you just own your damn own. The point I'm trying to make here is that you got to become a high advanced scientist. Even Elijah Muhammad said, he said, I don't want no believers. He said, I want gods or scientists. So the point here is you got to come on a higher level to even save your life. And I'll get into that particular stuff because things happen just about every day to me and other things like that. And basically you just walk right through it and stuff, and you might not even recognize you was even in danger until a couple of months or a couple of years later. But the point about it is you got the black man has to start dealing with his particular science. And his particular science is in the spiritual realm. Unfortunately, we're turned off by that now because we have been getting religion, which is inspirational ceremony, which has nothing to do with true spirituality whatsoever. You see. So this particular thing happened, and it's basically a tragedy. It's a tragedy, but it also goes on to say if there's anything to be learned from this type of thing, people don't necessarily have to be checked out that early. I mean, there's things that can be done. There's things that can be done. I mean, pretty much now, this thing is so easy to surviving on the physical realm is very easy in a way, especially when it comes to just certain things like physical health. You see what I'm saying? We're talking about mind over matter. Things like that. Mind over matter. Certain thing happened to me back in 99 and all. I got in a car wreck. Somebody hit us in the back, bust out the back lights and stuff. So, of course, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to make that phone call and go sit up in somebody's doctor's office for a couple of months, or a couple of weeks and stuff, and go through that therapy and shit so you can get that insurance money. You know the deal. But anyway, when I got up there and all this stuff, they took my high blood pressure. They said, man, your shit is off the charts. And the first thing I said, damn, that ain't no damn high blood. That's the Kundalini energy. I already knew what it was. But I said, I can't convince them up in here. So a sister took it about 2 days later, and this sister was she was from Cuba, a sister, and she said, you don't got no high blood pressure. But although the machine said I had high blood pressure, she said, you ain't got no high blood pressure. She said, I know what's going on. You don't have no high blood pressure. So I told the doctor, I said, okay, man, let's get past this shit. Tomorrow when I come in, my blood pressure will be down low. I said, that motherfucker look at me like it's crazy. This motherfucker crazy. This shit take years. Some people never get this thing down. Take years of medical. I said, tomorrow when I come in, my shit will be down low. It'll be normal. So when I came in the next day, they couldn't even find no blood pressure. They were like, are you living? They couldn't even find it. And basically, I just closed my eyes and it slowed down my heart rate. It's simple. It's a science. But the key here is you got to convince your subconscious mind that this stuff is real. So you don't let somebody convince you that the only thing is real is what the damn doctor says and what you think is physically right. So basically, I just imagined my heart, slowed my heart rate down, came in there, and slowed it down so much until they couldn't even find a fucking pulse or whatever the deal was. But the key here is that in actuality, what we had also figured out also, based on some things that happened to me, especially just the first of the month, the first of the year was in actuality that our heart rate and heartbeat is faster than white people's heart rate and heartbeat. And there's a reason why it is that fast. First of all, we have melanin inside of our body, inside of the central nervous system, and inside of the blood. And the heart rate has to pump a certain level, so that the energy or the melanin can line up and crystallize throughout the body and heal the body. So what happens is you got this melanin all over the body. And it's in different cracks and crevices and chakras and all this type of stuff throughout the body. So the nervous system has to pump at a certain level to line it all up. If the blood passes through the body at a certain rate, then all this stuff lines up and you start to heal yourself. So the white man has figured it out and said, shit, we got to slow down black people's heart rate or their blood pressure. You see what I'm saying? To stop the healing process of the melanin. You see. So this is a great mystery. So they give you all this medication and all this kind of stuff because they got to stop the healing process. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't they saying they got a damn epidemic of diabetes? You hear this thing? Now, if I'm not mistaken, when I was a young boy, the only motherfuckers that had diabetes was born with it. Then somewhere in the 80s, they said, wait a minute, if you fat, you got diabetes. So this thing went from people being born with it to now you just get overweight, you got diabetes. You understand what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden, now it's an epidemic. Now, wait a minute, now what's going on here? Apparently, the insulin shuts down the pancreas. But they tell you that the reason why you have diabetes is because your pancreas is not working properly. So literally they're giving people diabetes. That's the new mystery. You see what I'm saying? And so to put you on the insulin in this whole nine, there's a whole lot of stuff going on. Watch out. Watch out. I heard it too many times and the Spirit said, watch out for this mad cow disease. They're going to bring this shit to America. And you got to watch out for that one. This mad cow disease, first of all, they had this thing in Europe. Then all of a sudden they're talking about, you know, that, in January they started talking about this feed. They said they had a few case up in Canada. Then, and then the other day in Georgia, they said, could mad cow disease be on its way to Georgia? I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. This is too many times. They're warning people about this mad cow thing. You see what I'm saying? So therefore, you got to be real key on that now. That shit is coming to, that stuff is coming. You see what I'm saying? So at this particular time, any type of beef right now. So I just decided, I was a vegetarian for a while. Then I went into protest. But I said, well, you know, okay, I'll do that. I'll get back. I'm going to have to get up off this beef thing. I'm going to have to get up off this beef thing and all because I'm telling you, they're getting ready to spring this mad cow madness. This is on its way. You see what I'm saying? I see it coming, you know. And I ain't one, you know, to tell you what to eat and stuff like that and all, but the point I'm trying to make here, I pretty much, when I nailed it on the head like that, is usually, I told the people in 99, I said, you know, that Viagra is made out of melanin. Now, even in that, there's an article in the back of that flyer, there's an article in the back of the flyer, you know, I got a few more and stuff. I'll give some out in a few minutes, but they're talking about, they shot these white people up with melatonin to ward off skin cancer for melanoma, and they started having sexual heightened stimulation, men in their 60s and men in their 50s, these white men. So therefore, I know that the Viagra is made out of the melanin. You see what I'm saying? As well as a whole host of all types of stuff. It's basically any neuro research or any type of new breakthroughs in science is all melanin breakthroughs. All melanin breakthroughs, any type of this stuff and all. So this mad cow thing and all, you got to watch out for that one, because that one is coming and shit, you know, where your skin just fall off. You see what I'm saying? So this is very key that is going on at this particular time. Okay, I don't know where to start. Boy, there's so much thing. We just roll. I'm trying to be unorthodox these days. Well, then again, I always was. Here's the thing now. This is one on Time Magazine this last week. Human cloning is closer than you think. Now, it's interesting here. Not only are they saying that human cloning is closer than you think, they have literally got an article in there on how to clone a human. So these crackers is really going at it. How to clone a human. Now, there's a brother from Augusta here, Brother Leotis, said that he went to the doctor and all and said, you know, they want to take what? How many?
4 vials.
4 vials of blood. He was like, wait a minute, you want to take 4 vials? What you doing? Y'all cloning up in here? And the cracker looked at me saying, we don't do that in this hospital. He didn't say, what are you crazy? There's no such thing. He said that we don't do that in this hospital. It's like the movie They Live. Oh, we got one that can see. Just a difference. We got one that can see. So he told me, oh, we don't do that in this hospital. You see what I'm saying? Because they say we got one that can see. You see, so They know that they've been doing this since 1945. But the key here is they are putting this stuff out because they can prep you for it. And they got family members, so no, I got loved ones I want to bring back. They got some old crack up in here holding a picture of her son. You know what I'm saying? Holding a picture of her son, and some people that's got people that's lost, and and people that want different babies and stuff like this. Like they got these two lesbians up in here, and I'm quite sure they want to clone some babies and all this kind of stuff. And so this stuff here is going on right here. And so basically they make it very appealing. These good honest Republicans and shit, good honest Americans and all this type of stuff, and they make it so appealing. And so after a while, 2020 came on with the cloning thing. You see what I'm saying? So basically, not that they are going to clone, they're just going to come out and say this is socially acceptable. You see what I'm saying? Socially acceptable. So this is some stuff that's actually going down. It's actually going down right now. That lets you know what time you are in at this particular time. So we're going to get into several things today. I just want to see some things here. We're going to get into several things today. Only just go through some notes and things like this and all and see. Before we get into some hard-hitting things. Let me see here. A couple other things. Let's see here. Let me give you an example of what's going on here. If you notice, they've been showing pictures of Muhammad Ali. They made him Sportsman of the Year. They made him Sportsman of the Year. And they just been celebrating the life of Muhammad Ali now. These crackers are not interested in no Muhammad Ali. They didn't like Muhammad Ali at all when he so-called stood up and said, I ain't messing with no walk. You understand what I'm saying? They didn't like him at all in the 70s. This was our hero at the particular time. Now all of a sudden, white people are so in love with Muhammad Ali. And we got to understand science to the point on what this particular white man is doing, because this white man is always, he's a rebel without a pause, and he's always thinking on how to exploit us. Now the key here, the only reason why they are holding Muhammad Ali up now is because of what Muhammad Ali has turned into. This Frankenstein-like, monster-like character. So this is some advanced science. What you do to exploit your enemy is you show him in his weakest state to the world. So meanwhile, it's clever. Because they got all the pictures of him, and then you see the comparison when this man, young and beautiful and just talking all this shit. You know what I'm saying? Then all of a sudden you see this doggone zombie. You know what I'm saying? Don't know his ass from a hole in the ground. And they flashing they even got him up in the damn Olympics about to burn himself up. So all this stuff that's going on here, you don't understand the science. They're not doggone giving you Muhammad Ali because they like Muhammad Ali. They're giving you Muhammad Ali in the past only to show you this particular pathetic person in the future. A monster that they created because they fed him he said rat poison. But you know what I'm saying. Honorable Muhammad told him, you can't be talking shit about these white people and you getting all their money. And you going laying up in their damn hospitals like this. So therefore they're going to do something to you. So in so many words, they created this monster. And this is the person that's psychological, and this is a form of mental warfare. That they take him and he going all around the damn world. You know what I'm saying? Can't talk. You know what I'm saying? You kick him in the ass, you can't get no response. You don't know whether he's hurting or not. You just, Then, he used to do this, Now he can barely raise the hands up and shit like this. So this is a part, of a science. This is a part of a science that they do, and they show this pathetic character around the world. And the people are looking and going, oh man, look at this person here from the 1960s and the 1970s. And then look at this particular monster right here. And this is a way that they can degrade you and tear you down. So they'll take one of our super icons, you see what I'm saying, and destroy him by showing you. And he's too stupid to know what's going on. Now, Ronald Reagan don't know his ass from a hole in the ground. He fucked up. When the last time you saw Ronald Reagan? You ain't seen Ronald Reagan since the day he left the damn White House. So that's a science in that. You take them, you put them in obscurity. You see what I'm saying? You put them in seclusion, and you will only remember the Ronald Reagan of the 80s. You know what I mean? 80 years old with a head full of black hair. You see what I'm saying? This is the science behind this. You see, you know, and these crackers used to do it all the time. Cary Grant said, well, I'm 50 now, I'm retiring. You don't see Cary Grant no more about 2 months before that cracker croak. That's the science behind that. They got all these old movie stars. They be retired. You don't see them no more until they're about to die. You know what I'm saying? But this is the science behind how you do this. You never take your icons and let them get all, you know, niggas always returning and shit. You know what I'm saying? Always returning. That's another damn thing. You know what I'm saying? Always returning from something. Be 50 years old talking about returning. You see what I'm saying? So the key here is, that's the science. You ain't seen no damn Ronald Reagan. You see, that's what you do. They go into seclusion and they end their public life. And so therefore the icon and the image is always shown at its greatest. They got this idiot traveling around, he kissing Giuliani up in New York. He just a kissing and stuff and all of a sudden he just love white people. You see what I'm saying? This is zombie man, he just love white, he love crackers and he kissing crackers and don't even like it. You see what I'm saying? But this is a science and this is the way they do these things. Give you another mind control thing. It is not by mistake, and I said this down in Atlanta, it is not by mistake. You ever see the show The View with Barbara Walters? And they got all these skinny ass white women. You understand what I'm saying? They had one girl, she was so dumb she didn't know how to tie her shoe, but she was skinny. Now we're not saying that there's anything wrong with a sister with weight on them. But you got to understand the science on the reason why they picked Star Jones. She just so happened to be black, but she just so happened to be fat. And there's a science in the icon of the whole Hattie McDaniel thing that they've been doing since the damn 1920s. You get it? This is science. You see all these damn women and shit, old rheumatism ass Barbara Walters. You know what I'm saying? Old molded, mildewed ass, rheumatism ass, DD ass, about to fall out. Boy, she's skinny. See what I'm saying? Skinny. You know what I mean? Probably, shit, I don't know, might have been kept alive with some, I don't know. I don't know what she's living off of. They might stick her ass in gas tank or something in her house. Keep her ass alive tonight. Plug up to the wall. But she's skinny. There's a reason for that, why they would show all of them. This is science, how they do this thing. There ain't nothing wrong with Star Jones. Star Jones come to the black community, she probably get 1,000 niggas. You know what I'm saying? A lawyer. You know what I'm saying? She cute. You know, she fat. She got a cute face. But then again, we never tripped. See, think about it, we never tripped on the weight because our mamas is big. You know what I'm saying? So we like the big women because hell, all of you know, most of our mamas big. Shit. So we never tripped on that. Plus, it's just the white women just look so pasty and nasty when they get some weight on them. The only one can have some damn weight and stuff, you know what I'm saying? And literally be desired. You know what I'm saying? They said that one sister, they went to Hemmitt one year in 97, had took a whole bunch of people over to Hemmitt. And one sister was heavy set, and she went over there and all the African men and all the Arabian men was running after her ass. They was running after her behind. They was literally all behind her because in their society they also looked at heavy people as a form of wealth and prosperity. You see what I'm saying? Like that and all. So these women, these men was just literally transfixed on this sister. You know, she was a little plump. You know what I'm saying? That was all over her ass. So what I'm trying to say, we don't really trip on it. That's a cultural thing. You know what I'm saying? But you best believe that they ain't dealing with it on that level when they got Star Jones up in it. They got Star Jones up in it to exploit her and exploit the black woman as an image. You get where I'm coming from here? There's a reason behind that. It's just like there's a reason behind the whole Clumps thing with the Eddie Murphy thing. You understand? You see what I'm saying? Because goddamn Jerry Lewis did the same movie. Nutty Professor. But wasn't no fact stuff up in there. This is a whole science behind this. You understand what I'm saying? There's a science behind the image that they're trying to do right now. You see, this is very key that you understand how this particular thing is actually going on. This is actually going on. A lot of stuff is going on that is very interesting. They had this election recently, and Bush said that he said something about, it's about the citizens now. Something about, he talked about the citizens as being the only legitimate thing at this particular juncture. As if to say that if you're not a citizen, you screwed. Now clearly we know that we're not citizens. Because the simple fact is, a citizen has an inalienable right to vote. Don't mean that vote mean any damn thing, but the point here is, you got the right to vote. We're the only people who just got to doggone ratify this thing. You understand what I'm saying? Every 25 years, the Voting Rights Act. And that is because we're not citizens. So you got to go get the movie Starship Troopers. The movie Starship Troopers. And this movie is based on the citizens versus the civilians. You see what I'm saying? The citizens versus the civilians. And they say the civilians will always need things given to them. You see what I'm saying? But if you're a citizen, you got certain rights. So we know that we are citizens based on, since so the whole Voting Rights Act is if every Chinese man can come up in here and go through that little course, you know what I'm saying? And for 7 years or whatever the thing is, and he becomes a citizen. They don't have a Voting Rights Act for him. You know that they have to doggone clear ratify pass every 25 years. Only black people, because black people are still 3/5 of a human being and also property of the United States government. Now let's get on this shit right now. So we got some more brothers up in here. We tell you right now. You got to make up something. I'm not talking about you per se, but I'm talking this stuff all over the country. So let's squash this shit right now. I'll tell you right now. You got to make up your mind. Is the white man the enemy? Nope. Or is he your friend? If the white man is your enemy, he ain't going to recognize you being a motherfucking Moor or whether you being goddamn James Brown. It don't matter. Now let's not be funny with this mess, because you can have all your papers. And I'm not telling you that you don't necessarily, I'm not telling you that it is not in your order to learn a certain amount of things. But what I'm trying to tell you, if you think the white man gonna honor that shit, you are delusional. Because they got Moors going to jail all around the damn country with this bullshit. And you can stay on off to a certain degree, but my point here is, and I'm not arguing with you to saying that what you are saying is not right based on your legitimate laws or based on who you are, as based on the citizen versus based on a sovereign and all of that. The point I'm trying to make to you is there's only one problem. That don't line up when it comes to the damn devil. That's the difference what I'm trying to say. We're not saying that there's not a law on this particular thing, but what I'm trying to say here is he has deemed you his enemy. So the brothers, it happened. It happened. It hit us early in Atlanta. We got rid of the license plates, got rid of the driving license. Sure enough. And them niggas went to jail for a couple, 2-3 years, and that shit ended. In Philadelphia, they said, okay, we Moors. So in Philadelphia, they said, we're going to show you how this shit go. They went and jacked a family up. Say, you ain't going to pay your taxes. You ain't going to have your driver's license. They jacked a family up, took them straight to the state penitentiary. Took them straight to the hole. And it wasn't no, you a woman and you get over here, and you a man. They took the woman to the maximum security penitentiary for males. And both of them, and put them in the hole and said, you're going to be up in there until you pay your damn taxes. You can't do that. They can do what the fuck they want to do. That's the key what we're trying to say here. There is a science behind this stuff, but what I'm trying to say here is, this thing is getting delusional if you think the doggone white man is going to recognize you just because you are Moor. Hell, he know you are Moor. He know we are Africans. He know we Egyptians. He know we Nubians. He know we Atlanteans. He know we East Indians. He knows our history. But because you come and say something, because I know for a doggone fact, I can say what the hell I want, but this man knows based on his lodge that you are deemed the enemy. And because you are deemed the enemy, it don't matter. So this is another thing that's delusional. You got Moors around here thinking that in some kind of doggone divine act, if I can convince the doggone white man that I'm sovereign, that the white man is going to honor that. And that is just as much insane. You understand what I'm saying? To think in actuality, you're going to eat at the White House tomorrow. And screw Bush's daughter. You might have a better chance because they're giving the damn white pussy away. You see what I'm saying? But the point I'm trying to make here, you delusional if you think for one reason that in actuality you go through this time. It don't matter based on no maritime law, based on no constitutional law. It don't matter. You are the enemy. And the bottom line here is, this man has to get off the doggone planet. There is no compromise in living with this cracker. You understand what I'm saying? There is no compromise in living with this doggone cracker. So what I'm trying to say here is, there is one thing to understand those particular sciences, but there's another thing, because you got some Moors out here literally think that the white man is going to honor them because they're damn Moor. You understand what I'm saying? Well, we know we set up all that. Yeah, you did set up all that. But you, look, yes, but you set up all that for us to get this particular information now. But what we're talking about here, as far as that white man that is ruling this thing now, he couldn't give a damn hill of beans.